heard you give an account, I believe it was your interpreter, who was saying that this person was at the original demonstrations in Daraa, and where all of a sudden there were people with Al-Qaeda flags and carrying around complex automatic weapons, and Syria doesn't have the right to bear arms. So where were they getting these things? Of course, we know they got them from Libya, but what's the official explanation for how they had all these guns?
Well, this has never been explained, and in fact, of the, most everything that I saw over there was consistent with what I had determined through open source intelligence. But one of the things that had not been reported on anywhere was the very brief duration of genuine demonstrations. And I ran into 3 different people who had actually been demonstrators. Now, the media has trained us to think of anti-Assad demonstrators as being people who wanted to overthrow the government. I have been a demonstrator. Perhaps you've been a demonstrator.
Yeah, it's just reform. It's not
yeah,
a complete takeover.
That's right. We march on the Capitol, but we're not asking for people to be, taken off and beheaded. We're trying to reform something, and this is what was happening. And the one that stands out was my interpreter, who we just happened to be chatting on the final day that I was there. And he said, he said, I was an anti-Assad demonstrator. I said, that's interesting. I said, tell me about it. He said, well, and he explained. He said, we went through this sequence. We started off as just being genuine demonstrators, typical demonstrators. And he said, then the first thing they brought the Al-Qaeda flags, and we said, get rid of those. This is not what we're about. Then they brought automatic weapons and military-style weapons. We said, get rid of the weapons. We're not into armed things. We're just trying to reform. And then he said the third thing is they began to proselytize about religious hatreds and hatred of the Christians, of the Alawites, of the Shiites, and of the moderate